I always battle with how many injects to write. And one thing one of my mentors taught me was start with 100. 100 injects will only carry you for about an hour and a half in an exercise if you have a really, really aggressive exercise. But I've done an exercise for an hour with 10 injects. It depends on what you want to achieve, what you're trying to measure, what your goal is. And then you check them off as they're completed. Evaluators complete their records, consolidate your notes when you're done, put them all together. Then all the evaluators get together. You kind of compare notes and see how things went, see if there are any similarities or dissimilarities. Gather any clarifying information you need. Maybe you made a note that you need to go back and ask someone why they made the decision they made. Maybe you need to ask them why they did what they did, just to clarify for your narrative. Clarify times, actions taken. Maybe you need to compare against other evaluators, see if they had the same issues or the same successes. Turn in the evaluation material to the evaluation team leader. And I'll tell you, in most cases, there probably will not be an evaluation team leader. It will go to whoever's in charge of the exercise. Now, we conduct a hot wash. And the hot wash is held generally, it's going to show up again in here somewhere, within an hour of the end of the exercise, or the index. Yeah, right there, within 1 hour of the end of the exercise. And this is not a venue to present the evaluation. This is simply to focus on participant input to areas of strengths and improvements. What do you think you did well as the participants? And then what do you think areas of improvement are? And we're going to document those. And we're going to see if that marries up or matches to what our narrative and what our assessment, what our evaluation says. Now, who needs to come to the hot wash?
Key participants.
Say that again?
Key participants.
Operative word is key. So, we did a drill at one of our community hospitals up north. And it involved decon and the ED and patients through the surge through the ED. And they had a hot wash, and every manager, director, and vice president from the hospital came. And they all had an opinion, even though they weren't there.
Even though they weren't there.
Even though they weren't there.
So they needed to not come.
Correct.
They weren't involved.
They weren't involved. They have no business there. If they do, they need to keep their mouths shut.
I was thinking the same thing.
But this is key participants. So you get the key participants because you want their honest input without intimidation of what they thought, good or bad. Never grade your own paper. And that's why we're doing this, and that's what Sarah spoke to. We should never evaluate ourselves. I think it leaves too much opportunity for misevaluation and for subjective evaluation. I think it's critical that you have people from at least outside your four walls. I think it's fair to have somebody from Huntersville come down here, or Matthews come up here, or people from here go to one of them to evaluate exercises. I'd really like, we have people from Thomasville coming to evaluate Huntersville in the next drill. That's great. And one of them is an ED nurse educator, and the other one's a registration person. Just exactly what we need. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to get nurses from progressive pulmonary to evaluate patient placement and arrival on the floors at Matthews or Huntersville. Great opportunity, because it just is, because you're not from there. You're not going to be prejudiced to that. Developing regional evaluation team, that's what y'all are here for today. This is a volunteer network. So we have solicited some hourly people. We have solicited a lot of managerial or non-hourly or exempt employees. But this is a volunteer service that is for the region, for the betterment of the community. We need your skill sets, and it's critical to the development and progression of this. And then this is a great opportunity to learn how other agencies function. I learn something every exercise and drill I do. And I tell you, we often say cut and paste is a wonderful thing. You know, plagiarism is the greatest, most sincere sign of flattery. If somebody else is doing it and it works, I want to do it the same way, or I want to try it.
So one thing, to go back to the volunteer real quick, is most of us work for facilities that are heavily engaged in community engagement, community involvement. This would count if we need to sign anything or whatever to verify that you did it, then we can do that if you need to, but this is, it would be involvement in helping the community grow, and so from that standpoint, it can help and get your numbers up, because everybody's supposed to have a certain amount of.
See, we work with the Metro Atlanta Trauma Advisory Council and the Metro Atlanta Healthcare Preparedness Coalition. They are an independent, freestanding agency that's always counted on grant funding for sustenance. And we as facilities are obligated to provide in-kind donations of time. Well, pretty much from here, that's been me. But this is a great opportunity to participate and be included in the process. And I'll tell you, if you've not been active or involved with what's in Mecklenburg County as far as equipment and processes and plans and procedures, this is a great opportunity to get involved and see and participate with some of those folks. Man, work with police agencies and fire agencies and EMS agencies. There's a tremendous amount of great stuff that happens in this county, in this region. So I would encourage you. Anybody have any questions? All right. Yes, ma'am.
Just quickly around the clarifying the who and the what and the when and when we're documenting, because we're not, the participants should not be verbalizing to us, I just called the incident command. I can hear what they're saying, but
Correct.
I may not be sure who they're calling.
Correct.
And all those components. So those are the pieces that we clarify at the end, not when we're live, so to speak.
That is correct.
Okay.
I will, things like that, I may clarify right then, because
okay.
you may not remember the phone call, or
Right.
they may not remember
That's
the
what I was
phone
trying to
call.
figure out
Just
when
like
I need
as
to
they,
step in to say, who did you call?
yeah, as
Tell
they
me
hang up,
why you called them.
just ask.
And that's fair play.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I thought, are we
They're
supposed
used
to
to that.
truly be, you know, the wallflower kind of evaluator? And I know the discussions to get them back on track, but in the clarifying, I just want to make sure I understood
And
correctly.
if you're the subject matter expert in that area and they identify who they called, you're free to challenge, is that the correct person to call? Or is there anyone else you may have wanted to call?
Right,
And just to be suggestive, but not subjective,
got it.
okay?
And one of the keys is really open questions, because it's you, they may be doing a process that you don't understand, and, you know, just really open questions if there's a little bit of a lull, and
Got it.
being very team-oriented and non-judgmental, even though we are judging them.
But we can engage.
And,
But we
but
can
yes, you
engage in
can
that
talk,
one.
and
Got
actually
it.
it seems to go better, that's the other benefit to showing up early, is you get a little bit of time to build rapport, because they're gonna show you around, and you'll get a little chit-chat time, and they'll realize you're human, and you're just like them, you're not some big over, and literally you're just documenting things. And the way I always present it is I'm trying to make your life better. If we can identify key pieces that are problematic for you and we can document them, it'll be a lot easier to fix them in the future. And boy, does that get people talking. So,
So the dates, so are we here today to be getting ready to be evaluators in these upcoming, is that what?
And moving forward,
and moving-
yes.
Yeah, so,
So, yes, I'm going to ask right now, if you are available and would like to participate on June 25th, see me, call me, email me.
and we will email you out the dates for all the other exercises and the time frames, and also ask a few questions of y'all, because it's not just where you work now. I mean, yes, you're doing the trauma coordination now, but you have a very extensive background, so that's going to play into it as well.
Well,
So,
and the other fact is that Robbie's has Union and Pineville for CMC, and Robbie might have a drill just inside his facility, just for a facility that's outside of this scope, and he may need evaluators. And he could go to that distribution list, or call Sarah, call me and say, hey, I need some evaluators.
That leads to an interesting point. Hey, I need some evaluators.
Just so happens.
When?
Tentatively, June 27th, we'll be evaluating inpatient rehab for the building in Pineville. In cooperation with Pineville Fire Department, there'll be a functional exercise, an evacuation of that facility, a surge for Pineville. I don't have hard line dates yet.
As soon as you do, email me the details, or Sarah, and we'll send it out.
Okay. I'm gonna be too much in a teaching role to really
Sure.
evaluate, and James will be there, he'll evaluate if I'm taken care of, but I'll maybe, one or two other.
Sure. So that's what this is about, moving forward. And man, you'll get a lot of experience really fast because there are a lot of exercises and drills that take place in the region. One of the things we're moving toward is developing a calendar through the All Hazards Advisory Committee, AHAC, for the region, so we can have a calendar that shows when everybody's having drills and exercises, so that we know what's going on and can participate.
The other two regional exercises, it's June 25th, like you said, then it's going to be July 15th and August 6th.
So do you know where these are? Are they regional?
So they are, our region goes down to Scotland County and then all the way up to Burke County. So what we would do is we're trying to ascertain from all the hospitals, A, who's playing, when are they playing, and then what they're really trying to look at. And try to match people up well. More than likely, we're trying to keep people within 20 to 30 minutes of their home base. Now, if you're in Matthews, you're not 20 to 30 minutes from anywhere because you're sitting in traffic. Same thing with Stageville, so we'll have to figure that out a little bit. But I'm going to anticipate most of them will be needed. Gaston, Lincoln, Cabarrus, that circle right there, and then we'll pull more than likely sort of our more EM evaluators that have more of a mileage budget to go to the further regions, unless people just want to see what's going on.
Was this beneficial to,
So do you have this kind of training, like if you want to bring these other people on board?
We will,
Okay.
absolutely.
There's another one on the 30th.
30th what?
The 30th,
Friday.
another one of these is Friday,
Okay.
at CMC Lincoln.
Yeah, the next one will be our second, and then we are actually videotaping both of them, and we will put them up on YouTube, whichever one is better. But hopefully, the long-term goal will be at least quarterly. We're doing them, just to kind of keep them growing and to keep Tony out of trouble.
I don't need any help.
If you keep him busy, he stays.
Right.
Well, good, thank you all for coming. I look forward to your comments and suggestions, recommendations.